Hello, everybody. Okay, so I'm just doing a really quick one. Um, I think I'm going to go out and do an errand shortly, but I just wanted to kind of put this up as the most recent video and put this out there. Um, and yeah, it'll be shorter than they sometimes are, but when I come back after my errand, and I'm feeling a little sore and stiff, so hopefully I'll manage to do it all right because that was not very well. Because I mean, I could call and ask for a ride from somebody, but the weather is decent. It's not that far. I think I can manage. So, um, it's not someone I'm super close with and would like love to see, but they're okay. Anywho, and I mean, we have different types of connection with people. I just wanted to do a really quick podcast though, because on this topic, which sometimes I do talk about. It's a hard thing sometimes for people to open up to, but as the title says, we all experience difficulties and triggers. First of all, not all triggers are bad. Some trigger happy memories. Second of all, the ones that we'd rather not have, we can work with. We can work with. I'd love to say that simply replacing, a so-so trigger, in your life with something, but like something's a trigger, like a place or whatever. Go to it with somebody else, or go to it, and it might be connected to a person, as well. As long as it's safe, I mean, go to it, you know, with somebody else and make new memories. The only thing I would say about that is that you probably have to do it a number of times. If you're anything like me, it would be a struggle. You say, okay, well, that was good, that was good, that was good, but I haven't forgot this, So whether dealing with triggers is about forgetting that that we have a certain one or not, I guess I'm not even sure. But that being said, um, I have experienced, I wish there was a different word for it, but I can't think of what it is, what it be at the moment, or another one. But I have experienced those kind of things in my life, and so I know that I don't know if I'd say I know what works, but I know the feeling, and I know that with effort you can improve them. Um, if you hold on for just a moment, I'm just gonna go. Our dog is just needing an attention for a moment. I'll be right back, but feel free to weigh in on, be brave, be open, share something that you would say fits with the theme of this video, and I'll be right back and try and help you. Okay. Well, we had someone there. They didn't stay. If they're not very familiar with me and they were just going by that first few seconds or first minute or whatever that they saw me when they tuned in, if they've never seen me before, I mean, I don't think I give a bad vibe, but or maybe they need to see the previous video about kind of, you know, because it's bound to happen. It's bound to happen with all of us, whether we are fairly average or not. in our style or whatever, it's bound to happen that people will mind us of other people, and that may not always be easy. I talked a little bit about that in the previous podcast. I mean, otherwise, I'm not sure. I sometimes think of reasons when I notice that, but this time I'm not. Maybe partly because I'm also going to be going out soon. But I just wanted to say a little bit more on the topic. Also, I will state that I will, well, maybe I'll wait until in case somebody tunes in while I'm, you know, make more sense for them to know it. Like I say, people can see this after the fact too, but, um, so, you know, in saying that I experience those kind of things often, and Melissa, if you see this, you're probably thinking, oh, it seems like you're doing all right. You know, I don't want to say I put on a mask, but I I feel good when I'm helping or knowing that I'm trying to help people. YouTube is great, but when nobody is there on the receiving end, or it's slow to be heard and appreciated, and I don't want to be using selfish words. Slow to find the right people who it could help. Um, it's uh, it's not really you know that, and lack of purpose, and grief, and you know other things. They do kind of pile up and cause stress. That's for sure. So, um, so because I can't think of anything else at the moment, any other example, I'm just going to go with the one I thought of. And it kind of did spark from what was the most recent thing that I experienced that fits this kind of topic. Um, I feel like there's been two or three others today, perhaps, and it's just a little after 1 in the afternoon. Some days are easier than others. And in stating that, I'm human, and obviously, I'm human, and I'm not perfect. Nobody is. I don't have it all figured out. Nobody does. Some people are a little higher up the ladder, but that's not meant to make anybody on a different step feel inadequate or whatever. You know, we can get there, but we're meant to do stuff on the steps that we're on too, perhaps. And so, but so but I guess I don't like ladders. Fear of ladders. So uh, but yeah. So basically, before I possibly head out to do an errand, I don't feel a ton of energy, but it's something I kind of need to do because I don't think I can wait till tomorrow. Um, I'm just going to share an example that comes to mind. Oh, and I should state, for the most part, as long as you're not trying to, and you're being kind, and we're mutually there for each other, and anybody has the ability to be there, to be a support to someone. I mean, some people really think that, oh, you have to have a degree, but think of times when, if you didn't have a degree as a counselor or whatever, you were there for a friend. Actually, that's a great way to put it that I'm not sure if I've ever thought of before. You know, or if you were unable to help someone, you saw that you had a good solution that might have, or for yourself. Okay, um, and so don't worry about triggering me. As long as you're not purposely trying to be a difficult idiot, for lack of a different way to put it, will be fine. Um, but yeah, basically, one I will say, because I was reminded of my high school band and a couple of songs, and maybe one other reason I was reminded of high school. And I understand that that could be a topic that could be tough for some people, whether they're currently in school or just because they, haven't healed from some things they may have went through. Um, and that's okay. It may not have been your fault that you went through those things, even though they happened to you. Um, I actually have a meditation once that I did, a guided meditation, kind of on that theme. It was very random and it was a while ago, but yeah. Um, but for me, I enjoyed those days for the most part. What I would think of them now, um, I don't know. Who's that crowd? Lost dogs too, and that, but I'm not sure. But I think I'd like them. Um, Sometimes a strategy to dealing with triggers could just be that you have to accept. You have to accept the thought, the experience that you've had that sparks the thought. There's somebody that's like married too, and none of us should have to accept difficulties or hardships. And yes, they're a part of life, but we should be trying to make everybody's. We should be not only for ourselves and our own well-being, but we should also be trying to make it easier for others that we're in contact with or that cross our paths, right? But I would love, before I head out for my errand, to know that I've helped at least one person and actually know it, hear it from them. So we have somebody here right now. I haven't been rolling super long, and you left. So, and that's not necessarily for self gratification. Does it feel good to do? Yes. Can it be mutually beneficial? Sure. But no, I'm doing it for the other people, for the people, for the people, yo. So I'll roll a few minutes more, see if we can maybe make that happen. Otherwise, I'll just kind of leave it to the comment section, I guess. But I do, not to toot my own bugle, but I do really think that the title came together nicely. We all get triggered because we're all human, So, it's a very relatable thing. We're all living. Some of us may not feel like we are, or we may not be living the life we'd like in some ways, or we may be struggling with health or whatever. But if you're alive, you're alive. And I'd like to think that for most people, um, I do sometimes struggle to think it myself, for myself, but I would like to think that for most people, this would actually be a great one to send to. Well, I don't even know if I've reached them yet. The other one should be music. That there's a reason. There have been reasons. There probably still is. But at the same time, I don't want to be saying, so just keep struggling, because, just stay strong, because I know it's not as easy as that. Um, I suppose what I could say is, speaking about childhood, what I could say is, um, I wish I could remember what it was titled. I think you might realize that it was obviously kind of connected or a similar theme to what I was just kind of referring to a moment ago. I think by the title you'd notice that. And I could also say that it was definitely in the live tab, probably at least 6 or 7 videos ago, but no more than 12 or 15. It was a shorter one. I can say about maybe 30 minutes ish. And I really feel like I addressed, you know, basically the topic of suicide better than I'm doing so in this one, and I really hope that it uplifts and motivates and, if nothing else, reminds you, something that I think is fairly obvious, that you're not alone, that other people have the struggles too. That does not mean that you're not worthwhile, or that does not mean, that I'm saying, oh, you're nothing special. You know, you are, you are. And if you don't see it now, I hope you do again soon. That's something that I find great joy in, is helping other people. And unfortunately, I don't get to do it as often as I would like, but I do sometimes. It's helping other people to find their special, and I mean it in a good way. So I used to know an acronym for the word special, uh, that kind of fit with the word, in a positive way. But anywho, so I think I'm gonna wrap up. I don't really want to do an errand, go to the area I have to go to, and be around a busy area and this and that. I was out yesterday, but you know I kind of need to, so I probably will. And it would be good to get some fresh air too, probably. But just as I was about to wrap up and say there'll be a part two, again, I am very happy if I am able to help you within this video before I wrap up. You left. But you know what? Maybe what I've already said will help somebody. We go best stats. It's really hard to say, but I think that potentially it could. Potentially it could. Um, Whether you want to word it as what is something that you're struggling with right now, or what is something that you've been struggling to let go of, aka never healed from. I also have a video called that. It's a bit more recent than the other one I was mentioning. But at the moment, we've had three flashers at the top throughout this almost 18 minutes that haven't stuck around, which may or may not be a personal reason. They may just not be ready yet, or have other things going on around them, or whatever. But so it's unfortunate that this hasn't been able to reach them right now. But I'm going to post it so that people can come across it. And yeah, twice today I put my best foot forward in trying to be there for others. Um, Sometimes videos do quite well and they get a lot of traction, in the chat and that. But other times it's quite quiet. And it's not that I guess there's the whole point of maybe you shouldn't be looking for motivation or looking for, I don't want to say validation, but maybe it should kind of be, who cares if it's quiet? But I feel like I care because I care about the people that see my videos. Even though I don't know you, I do. And I hope that that shines through on the video screen, that I care about the people who see my videos. I care about what they want to say, as long as it's kind of respectful. And that must have had a bit of an impact, because the person was there during the whole I care about speech until what they want to say, but whatever. Or maybe it's respectful, but no. I mean, why would it be hard to get the respect, man? It isn't really. And so I want to know that I'm making a difference. I guess I could also say that I am newly venturing into self-employment is my hope. I have, you know, gathered all this stuff to get me to a place. And sometimes it doesn't take much, because sometimes people just need a little, and it can help a lot. But I have gotten myself to a spot where I can do that. And now I just, but I'm self employed, you know. I'm not I mean, first of all, I'm rolling on YouTube, and there's lots on YouTube, of course, lots of things for people to watch. But second of all, I'm not necessarily the most socially busy person, but I'm not the least either. So, as things are just, taking some time to kind of get started up with my self employment, I, you know, and I don't have like I don't have a business. I don't drive, so it's if there's something available, then getting the funding. I still believe Canada Startups is a funding is a scam company. Anywho, whether it is, whether it isn't, they seem to be trying very hard as if they don't have enough business. And I know what the grind can be like sometimes, but it doesn't really make them look great, I would say. Um, in some ways it does, and I could say, oh wow, they're really invested in helping me out, and this is great, and finally, and that. But I'm finding myself more so saying, wow, they're very persistent. They're, even though it's two or three different people, and then I did some reading, and yeah. But so yeah, I'm so ready to make the impact. I'm so ready to help the people. So all I can do is put myself out there and ask for you to be ready as well, even just a little. So I think on that note, I'm going to wrap up and try and tell myself that even though this video wasn't maybe all that I hoped it would be yet, that I tried. I'm doing my best. And, to keep doing so. And let that energize me while I go out today. Hopefully, it's not too hot. Hopefully, I'll also have a check in the mail. That'd be nice. But yeah, I'm trying, I can tell myself, I'll tell myself these things. Whether I actually do, and if I do, whether I actually feel it that strongly or believe it is another matter. But at this time, I'm just putting a colder one into a warm one, or kind of warm one. At this time, I need to go do my errand, keep the energy that I still have for that, and say bye for now. Um, I'm suddenly being filled with a feeling, so I'll express it before I finish up. And I don't fear death. For the most part, I don't. But there is a part of me that knows that we're all going to experience it for ourselves as well. There's a part of me that feels like there's always that uncertainty as to how and when. And maybe there's a part of me that's curious what someone would say to this, but no, I really feel like I just want to say, hopefully, I'm not that anxious to go out, but hopefully things will go smooth. I mostly hope this. I'd be lying if I said there wasn't a part of me that isn't ready. Or yeah, if there is what I'm trying to say. But, and I can't know. I can't know. I don't, some people may say, well, if you're going to think that negatively, usually I don't, even when I go out. But right now I am. And the truth of the matter is that these things could happen. I could get hit by a car is the one that feels like the most obvious possibility. You know, you know. So I mean, or so I just hope that my content helps people, helps them through their struggles, helps them through their boredom and their loneliness in positive ways that are that make it meaningful and positive and good for both of us. That that you yeah that something I've said or some things I've said will impact you and stick with you, and potentially even help carry you through some hard times in your life, maybe even the good times. I hope you may check out the other live videos tab on our channel and any others videos on our channel, and that you might get something from those as well. And all I ask is that you keep trying in life as well. Somebody tuned in right at the end. Maybe they're thinking, I don't have to try, I'm already great. Maybe there's someone that says, no, I don't want to anymore. Perhaps let's pray, or I mean, I'm not super strong in faith, but let's pray or have um, good thoughts for both of those people, because the one that's higher up the ladder could go a few steps down for some reason, and vis-a-vis, quite honestly. But and obviously the person that's struggling right now, perhaps to the point that I mentioned, we either gotta hope that they things improve for them in their life, or if they transition to the next one, we know that God is saying, I feel that God is saying, I've seen you try with what I've given you. I know that you're a good person. You've struggled for a long time. I'm ready to bring you up here with us on now. But for some of us, it seems like this is where I'm talking in ways that I don't even fully feel myself. In some ways, like I do feel like, the world's a huge place. I can't remember. I've asked it to a couple people recently, but I think only one answered it that I noticed, and I can't remember at the moment. But with so many people praying at once, and meeting at once, but you know, um, and I kind of my other thought kind of trailed from me there. Um, but with the help of the angels, perhaps being closer to God, I guess I would say it is possible that you might say, okay, yeah, be there, bring him up, bring her up, bring them up. It's time. Um, and to those left behind, it's not selfish. Mostly, it's not. A lot of people go through a lot of difficult feelings and pain and struggle, but some of us just, because we don't, we've been blessed not to. We might be able to understand a little bit, but we're never going to understand what it's like as those who struggle to those extents. Some people are stronger than others as well, mentally and such. Um, so, don't blame yourself. And I think we have to respect their choice and know that they're finding healing that they deserve. They're not evil people most of the time, but they are people who've had struggles. Um, Perhaps, some people would say, but what we don't get is like we all have struggles. But some people struggle for longer periods of time at a time, or they just know more accumulatively that they've been through. Um, and like I say, sometimes one can only be so resilient. I just saw where the phone is. Anyway, so my thoughts and care are with you all. Take care. Hello. Hi. Go. Say I love you. Oh yeah, I am too. But I think I am gonna go out and do an errand to have a little bit of money, and probably wouldn't be able to wait for the item until tomorrow. So I'm running low, but not really feeling up to it. But hopefully it'll feel nice to be outside for a bit. And yeah, did you? I think I missed part of that.